it's lovely to see you all here this evening. So yes, we're going to be lying down in the relaxation position, or you can be in a seated position, whatever works for you. I'm Sophie, by the way. Lovely to meet you all. So let's just take a little moment to connect the mind and the body. So I'd like you to just close your eyes. And if you are lying down, I want you to just let the spine widen and lengthen into the mat or your bed. And just start to be aware of the parts that are in contact with the mat. So the back of the head, the back of the rib cage, the back of the pelvis. And ideally having your knees bent, feet about hip width apart. Just let the arms rest. And Samantha, in your chair, you can just have your arms comfortably in front of the body, still thinking about that spine lengthening. But let's just close our eyes, and we're just going to start by some lateral breathing, which is what we do in the Pilates. So we're just going to take a breath in through the nose, really feeling the sides and the backs of the rib cage widen. And as you exhale, just let everything come out the mouth. Just let everything go. Let all the tension go. Just keeping your eyes closed. We're going to just focus on this breath a little bit more. So breathing in through the nose. Really into the sides, into the backs. You can even place your your hands onto the sides of your rib cage so you can feel them really opening. And then as you exhale, just let them start to close in. We're keeping with this breath. And even if it's too much to have your knees bent, you can lengthen the legs out. Whatever feels comfortable for you. So making sure that the shoulders are away from the ears, releasing any tension in the face, in the jaw. The tongue is not pushing against the roof of the mouth. Just let everything go. Just breathing in and breathing out. So while you're doing this mindful breathing, I want you to just bring your attention towards your center. And through the course, I'm going to tell you to sort of think about or imagining pushing your belly button slightly towards the back of your spine. And this is the sense where we're getting a little switch on through our deep abdominals and our pelvic floor. So I don't want you to brace. Sometimes when we think we have to engage through our center, we embrace everything. Everything becomes, and that's not what we're after. We want just a little lift, a little zipping up through our center. And through this, it will just help us control and facilitate the movements that we do. So once we've allowed us some time for our body to adapt to this position, we've let our spine release, we're going to come into some neck rotation. So again, this can be done comfortably seated. So we're going to take a little breath in, and as we exhale, I just want you to allow your right ear just to come over towards your right shoulder. Just hold here for a breath. And as you exhale, just take your head back to center. And then we'll go the other way. So let's breathe out. Bringing the left ear towards our left shoulder. Breathe in here, hold. And then exhaling, coming back to center. We're going to do this 2 more times. So it's not a forced movement. It's just simply allowing the neck just to have a little bit of rotation. And we're using that breath. Breathing in. Exhaling. Just doing 1 more here. With gentle movements. Just watching that the shoulders are still nice and relaxed away from the ears. The chest is open. The ribs are heavy. The back of the pelvis is heavy. Once you've done about 3 to each side, just bring your head back to center because we're going to do some very gentle chin tucks. So I don't want you to try and force your chin down to your chest as much as possible. It's just a tiny little hinge. It's just dropping that chin, coming back to center, and then gently opening that throat. Coming back to center. Just doing one more of these. So a little drop of the chin. Back to center. And then coming back, opening that throat out a little bit. Almost like you're massaging your head in the back as well. And then just let the head settle, hopefully feeling the weight, feeling the head being quite grounded. We're going to come into some hip work now. So just to start off with, I want us to lift the heels. So we're going to start with the right leg. So let's just lift the heel up. So again, if you're sitting, just lifting your heel, but really thinking about that big toe and little toe. And then lowering that heel back down. Other side. We're just lifting that heel. Feeling a little stretch through the back of the calf and lowering back down. So at this point, the arms can be down by the side of the body, but if you want to bring them to your hips, it's quite good to get a bit of feedback from the hips. Lower. One more to each side. So you're just lifting the heels and you're lowering. So lift and lowering. And then bring them back to the center. We're going to come into some knee drops. So we're just going to gently open the knees left and right. But the key here is to try and keep our pelvis nice and stable. So Samantha sitting on your chair, just opening a little bit, just getting a little bit of rotation, lateral rotation from that hip, and then closing it. So we're going to add the breath. We're going to exhale as we open the left knee. Let the left foot slightly roll on the border, and then close it back in. So we exhale, open. I want you to come back to that center, that little tiny lift in the belly button, like you're pushing it towards the back of your spine. Because the key here is we're trying to keep our pelvis really stable. And closing it. Let's just do one more to each side. So gently open that knee to the side. Keep that tailbone heavy. Keep the chest open, the face relaxed. Doing about 3 on each side. And then once you've done a nice even amount, just bring your feet back to the center. We're going to come to our shoulders now. If your hands are on your hips, just bring them back down towards the side of the body. And I want you to take a breath in as you reach both arms above your chest. And then on your next exhale, just gently start to reach them towards the back of the room. Now, don't take them too far yet. So I want you to start to think about your rib cage. And if your ribs are starting to want to naturally flare away, this is where I want you to switch on that tummy a little bit. Feel the weight of the ribs, the length of the fingers, and then just draw them all the way back down. So 2 more of these. Breathe in, and then exhale, start to take them overhead, but switch on your tummy a little bit. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears. And then take them back over the chest and lower back down. One more. Breathing in. And a little scoop in that belly. Just taking them as far as feels comfortable for you. So never force the range of movement. And then just lower them back down. Lovely. Well done. So from here, we're going to come into some pelvic tilts. So again, this can be done with your seated position. But let's bring your feet back, your hands back onto your hips. And I want you to think about your pubic bone and your tailbone. So the pubic bone is at the front, tailbone's at the back. Now I want you to think about tucking your tailbone ever so slightly towards your nose, so you can feel that lower part of the back just release a little bit, flattening, and then gently taking it away. So we're just getting this tiny little movement into our pelvis. So whilst we're hinging, whilst we're flattening that lower part of the back a little bit, we've still got a little engagement through our tummy, a little scoop of the belly, and then just release it back. So small movement, but we're still giving our pelvis a nice little bit of mobility, as well as our lower spine. And release. And one more. Breathing in, little tuck of the tailbone. And then release. And then just allow that pelvis to be really grounded, really, really heavy. I'm going to come into some leg slides now. So we're going to start with the right leg. I want you to start to slide it away from the body. And I want you to think about flexing your foot a little bit so the toes are towards your nose. So we're opening up that hip. Keep that calf grounded. Breathe in here. And then as you exhale, just slide the leg back in. Going over to the other side. So we breathe in to prepare. And then we exhale, we slide that leg away. Try and keep it in line with your hip. Keep the toes nicely flexed. And then draw it back to the start again. Let's do 2 more, 2 each side. So just lengthening the leg away. Little flex of the toes. Feel that hip slightly opened. And then slide it back in. So even though we're moving through the hips, I still want you to think that tiny little scoop of the belly, like you're pushing your belly button slightly towards the back of your spine. I want you to feel that the core is engaging a little bit, even though we're just sliding our leg away. It's really important to have that connection. Slide it back. We're doing about 3 on each side. Or even just 1. Or even you can just hold a stretch out if that feels nice for you. So once you've done 3, we're actually now going to add the arms as well. So let's bring our arms above the chest. And the palms are currently facing each other. We're going to turn them so the palms are now facing our knees. And I just want you to think, are my shoulders comfortably away from my ears? Is my humerus bone dropping into the shoulder joint quite comfortably? I'm going to challenge your coordination now. So we're going to slide that right leg away as we start to reach the left arm overhead. So we're feeling the stretch from the ribs to the hips. Breathe in here. And then as you exhale, take everything back to center. And then we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to exhale. I then want you to hold this position for a breath. And then exhale, come back. Going to do 1 more to each side. So as we're lengthening arm and leg away, thinking about that center, a little switch on, think of it like a dimmer switch. So just a little lift, a little lengthen. Do 1 more. Make sure you've done both sides so you're nice and even. And then after that set, just gently lower the arms down and just release, just let the chest be open. And we're just going to take a few breaths here. Just breathing in and breathing out. Good. Bring your awareness back. We're going to come into our single knee folds now. So coming back to our right foot, we're going to peel the right heel up, and then we're going to draw that knee in, switching on that tummy. We'd like knee to be roughly in line with our hip. We're going to hold it here, and then start to lower it back down with control. Now, whilst we're doing this, I want you to come back to that little dimmer switch in the tummy. If we don't use anything, our leg naturally just wants to sort of come and collapse all over the place. So by switching on our tummy, we're keeping our spine lengthened and in an alignment. Let's add the breath. So heel, exhale. Breathe in, hold. Exhale. So it's all about that control. Lift the heel first. Breathe out on the movement. Maintain, breathe in, and then exhale. 1 more to each side. Breathe in, exhale. Breathe in. Exhale on the movement. Breathe in, hold. Exhale. Good. And then just lengthen both legs away. let the legs relax. You're going to open your arms out into what we call a low V, palms facing the ceiling. I'm just going to point the toes, bring them towards our nose, and then lengthen them away. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And then just bend the legs again. Back to our bent knees. So we don't want the feet too close to the pelvis, and we don't want them too far away from the pelvis either. So somewhere into the middle. Just a little reminder, keeping that chest open, the chest heavy, and just taking a moment to think about the back of the head, back of the rib cage, back of the pelvis. And if you're seating, we just want that even, comfortable seat bones. We're going to take our arms back over chest now. We're going to come into something called shoulder drops. So we're going to reach our right hand towards the ceiling. We're going to breathe in and reach in. I just want you to feel that scapula sort of lifting slightly away. So again, if you're seated, pulling it forward and then releasing it back. Pulling it forward and releasing it back. So you're breathing in, exhaling. Breathing in, exhaling. So nothing else is moving. We are working through our scapula. We're letting it glide through the back of the rib cage. If this feels okay, you can do a double one. So let both reach away. And then exhale, let them sit back. 2 more. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out. And then turn your palms, lower your arms back down. So with the arms down by the side of the body, I just want you to turn the palms now to face the ceiling. And we're just going to bend the elbows and bring the hands to our shoulders. And then exhale. So breathing in, a little scoop in the belly. Exhaling. Again, if you're seated position. Just breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. It's nice, we're getting strong wrists, lengthening through those fingers. And now make fists. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. 1 more. Squeeze and release. And then just relaxing back on your mat. I'm going to come into something called flies now. So just resetting. Arms are back over our chest. Long fingers. We're going to take a breath in as we take our arms out to the side like we're about to give someone a big hug. Now while you're doing that, start to think of that zipping up through the center. And then exhaling, close. Breathing in. And exhaling. 1 more. Breathing in. Soft elbows, don't overextend. Exhaling. Then turning those palms to face your knees, we're going to come into very small circles. So we're going to breathe in and exhaling. Breathing in, exhaling. So the key here while we're doing this, keep those ribs really heavy. Try to avoid any sort of pigeon chesting. Once you've done 3 one way, you're going to reverse it. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in. And then just take those arms all the way back down. Good. So we're going to do a spine curl now. Now, Samantha, because you're sitting, you won't be able to do this. So I'd like you, while you're sitting, is to float your arm up and lower back down. And I want you just to do what we call some floating arms as such. And then if you feel okay with it, you're going to float your arm up and then maybe come into a little side bend as well. Restack. For those on the mat or the floor, We're going to come in what we call a spine curl. So we're going to do the whole spine in flexion. So make sure your feet aren't too far away. I want you to think about that start of the lesson when we tuck the tailbone a little bit. I want you to think about your tailbone still reaching towards your nose as you start to lift your hips. Even weight through your feet, opening those hips. And start to come to about the base of your shoulders. As you come here, just softening those ribs down. Even weight through the feet, shoulders away from ears. You're going to hold for a little breath at the top. And then as you exhale, I want you to think about bone by bone going back down into the mat. So we're still tucking that tailbone. Feel each and every vertebra go back down into the mat or the bed or wherever. And then just relax at the bottom. If that felt okay, we're going to go for another 2 of those. So the arms lengthened by the side of the body, softening those ribs. I want you to take a breath in, and as you exhale, think about a little tuck of the tailbone, feel that lower part of the spine release, and then gently opening those hips as you push through your feet, lifting the spine up, softening the ribs down. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ears. Breathe in at the top, and then exhale, come back down. And then just doing one more. Tuck the tailbone. Opening those hips. Breathing in at the top. And then exhale. Really important to start thinking about your feet. Big toe, little toe, center of the heel. And then just release. And then just take a little moment here. And just letting the neck roll from side to side. Breathing in and breathing out. So I've got one movement for Samantha, and then I'm going to another one for the people that are lying down. So if you are sitting, I'll show your one in a little bit. So if you're lying down, I'd like you to do something called knee rolls. So your feet want to be a little bit wider than your hips, and you're going to have your arms open in a low V. Make sure your hands are lower than your shoulders. So I don't want them up here, I want them down. Neck is released, the chest is open. I want you to imagine your thighs are like magnets. And we are going to take both legs over to the right. So both feet are rolling onto the outer border. Your left hip's going to lift. You're scooping the belly a little bit to control the movement, and you're keeping both shoulders grounded into the mat. Use that tummy muscles to breathe in. And then as you exhale, you're going to take the legs back to center and go over to the other side. So we exhale on the movement. That hip lifts. We're getting a little rotation in the spine, but we're keeping the shoulders heavy and open. And then coming back to center. You're going to do that for a further 2 times on each side. For anybody that's sitting, we're going to come into a little spinal flexion. So you're having your hands on to your knees. I just want you to tuck the chin. And just gently, thinking about that little scoop of the belly, just allow your spine to just flex gently forward. Breathe in, hold. And then still thinking, you're pushing that belly button slightly back. You're just going to gently restack that spine. Sorry, I've lost my head there. Come back down again. So I'll show you from the side. So a little tuck, scoop, little flex. Still pushing that belly button. Breathe in. And then just restack. So real gentle, but just make sure those shoulders are away from the ears. For those that are finishing off their knee rolls, just make sure you're nice and even to both sides. And once you're even, if it feels okay, take both knees in towards the body and just hold here. Just drop the tailbone and then release it. Drop the tailbone and release it. And then you can keep your toes together. Just make some gentle knee circles. Breathing in. Going both directions. One more hug of the knee. And then just lower the feet back down. bending the knees and just planting them here. So I'd quite like to do a bit of a hamstring stretch now. So we're going to come back into our single knee fold. And I just want you to clasp the hands behind the back of the thigh. And you're pulling your thigh into your hands and almost your hands into your thigh. If it feels okay, you're just going to start to reach that foot towards the ceiling. Just watching that the knees are still soft though. Doesn't matter if you can't straighten your leg. And then bring your toes towards your nose as you gently start to lower the heel down towards the back of the thigh. I'm going to just do 2 more of these. So you're breathing in and you're exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. And then just pull that knee in a little bit further. Hold here. Breathe in. Breathe out. And lower back down. Other side. Single knee fold first. Nice 90-degree angle. So don't let the leg drop. Little scoop in the belly. Bring the hands behind the thighs in the hands. Little connection. Chest is open. Going to breathe in as you point the toes up. Flex the foot. And lower. And up. Flex. And lower. Last one, up, flex, and lower. Pull that knee in, a little bit of a release. Breathe in and breathe out. Then lower that leg. Just take both legs away. Now I'm going to come up into a seated position now for the last few minutes of the class. So if you are done, you are quite happy just to stay in a bit of a corpse position and just allow your body to soften and release and relax. Feel very welcome to do that. Otherwise, if you'd like to come up into a seated position, just carefully coming onto one side. And it's quite good to even close your eyes whilst coming up into a seated position to avoid any sort of sudden rush. And if your eyes are closed, we're just going to come into anything that's comfortable. Just place your hands in front of your eyes, and then open, and then it won't be such a shock. Now, for those that it's very worth actually having a block to sit on, especially into Pilates, because sometimes our hips can get quite tight and can be quite restricted. And when we sit down, our spine naturally wants to curve. So by sitting on a block or a thick cookbook or something, it just sort of allows our spine to just lengthen a little bit more. So sit in a comfortable position for you, any position for you, cross-legged, legs in front, whatever you want to do. And just sitting up nice and tall. You're going to come into some floating arms. So you're just going to breathe in. Let that arm come up to the ceiling and just let that shoulder drop. And then let it float back down again. Now keeping it slightly in your peripheral vision as well. Other side, breathing in. Shoulder dropping down. Exhaling. Good. One more. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good. So I want to do an extra little bit of a neck stretch, but just to start off with, I'm just going to start to do some gentle shoulder rolls. So let's just take those shoulders up, slightly back and down. Breathing in and release. We're going a little bit wider if it feels okay. One more. And then release. Good. And then just bringing your hands down by the side of the body. We're going to take that left arm. We're going to just gently float it up. Let that shoulder relax down. And very gently, it's not the arm movement. I want you to think about your spine. Just gently flexing over to the right. Try and keep an even weight through your seat bones. Restack. And then lower the arm down. Other side. Breathing in. shoulder down the back. And then exhaling, gentle little flexion. And then restep and lower. Good. I want you to place the left hand into the small of your back. And the right hand, sorry, my angle of my camera is a little bit off. Okay. So left hand into the small of your back, and the right hand is going to go onto the side of your head, and you're just going to very gently use the weight of your hand to start to let the neck go over to the right side. And I just want you to breathe here. And exhale. Breathe in and exhale. So the hand that's currently on the side, I want you to slide that hand back to the back of the head now and just start to drop the chin towards your right shoulder. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then draw a line from your shoulder to your breastbone. Release both hands. And then bring your eye gaze back to center. And then we're going to go to the other side. So the left hand is now going into the small of the back. You're going to reach that right arm up and just let it come to the side of the head. And very gently, we're going to take that head over to the left. Relax those shoulders. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Taking that hand, sliding it slightly towards the back of the head, just dropping the chin towards your left shoulder a bit. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then just drawing a line from your chin to your breastbone, losing both hands, and then bringing your eye gaze back to the start again. Good. Well done, everybody. So let's just end with one more. Reach up. I want you to draw the arms up above your head and bring the palms together. Bend the elbows, lowering the hands, bring them thumbs into the breastbones. Just breathe in here. And as you exhale, you're going to reach those arms all the way back up, and then leading with your little finger as you turn those palms away, floating them all the way back down. One more. So let's breathe in. And then exhaling, drawing those hands together, drawing them all so that now the thumbs are coming into the breastbone. Just want you to lift the elbows up ever so slightly, feeling that stretch. And then turn the palms to face each other as you lower the elbows a little bit. And then coming back into your prayer. Last time, reaching up, exhaling. And then you can just gently close your eyes, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. And you're very welcome to even come back down onto your mat. Just lying down, taking some time for you. We always forget that we need time for ourselves. So you can carefully come just lying down on your mat, on your bed. Just let the legs be spread, let the arms be open, let the neck be long, and just start to release the thighs, the hips, everything that you've been working on today. And just breathe and enjoy, hopefully, how your body is feeling after this session. But I am going to leave you here today. Thank you very much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it. Any queries, questions, don't hesitate to email me. Otherwise, I hope to see some of you next week. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Take care.